Hello, my name is Jonathan Perez. I'm a student at Stockton University in Criminal Justice. I will do a presentation on Ralph Tortorici and his case of insanity. A little background information of the case. On December 14, 1994, the 26-year-old psychology student Ralph Tortorici walked into a history class on the campus of the State University of New York in Albany. Hiding under his clothes, he had a hunting knife and a high-powered rifle. He took the class hostage and demanded the professor to go get the press and congressional representatives. He claimed that he had a computer chip in his brain and he wanted to see the president. He told the hostages that if they all cooperated, no one would get hurt. When negotiations failed, 19-year-old sophomore Jason McEnay rushed Tortorici. As McEnay wrestled the rifle away, he discharged it and he was seriously injured. The other students tried to take the weapons away from Tortorici, and that's when the police surrounded the room and arrested him. He was taken to the Albany Medical Center to be treated for a knife wound. Later on in the hospital, he was tested positive for cocaine. He was later released into police custody when he was charged with multiple counts of kidnapping, aggravated assault, and an attempted murder. He was held in the Albany County Jail. His lawyer pleaded for his case as a case of insanity. According to the accused brothers, Matthew claimed that Tortorici had suffered from delusions for many years prior to the incident at SUNY Albany. According to his brother, he lived a normal rational life, but also lived this behind-the-scenes conspiracy theory type of life. During his trial, brother and father claimed that Tortorici told both Matthew and his father Robert that he suspected that the police were out to get him. He would say that the police got to his bosses and his bosses started giving him a hard time. He even believed that his brother and father were part of the conspiracy. During his pre-trial, he was putting into evidence that he was born with a defective urethra and had undergone a series of operations to correct it. As his delusions got worse, he became convinced that during the last of these operations, the government had placed a tracking device in his body. In August 1992, when he was 24 years old, he went to the University Health Center at SUNY Albany and complained that a microchip had been implemented in his penis. A psychiatrist at the health center immediately referred him to the Capital District Psychiatric Center. The statement from the psychiatrist was included into evidence for the case. He also turned into drugs due to his paranoia that caused an extreme depression plus the fear and anxiety. According to family members, including his mother, contacted the Albany County Medical Center concerned that her son was suicidal. After an evaluation, Tortorici was diagnosed with cocaine intoxication, suicidal ideation, and depression. Just 10 months later, after the evaluation, he took the SUNY students hostages. One of the issues with this case was whether he was competent to stand trial or not. After an evaluation, it was decided that he was not competent to stand trial, and he was placed in Mid-Hudson Psychiatry Center until late March 1995, when a psychiatrist at Mid-Hudson decided that Tortorici met the requirements for competence. Determining whether somebody can stand trial or no had a little low standard. Prosecutor Cherry Coleman recalls somebody once describing competent as knowing the difference between a judge and a grapefruit. An issue for the prosecution was to find a psychiatrist that can say that he was faking the insanity at the moment of the incident. 2 days into jury selection, Coleman finally found a psychiatrist from another county, Dr. Lawrence Siegel, who agreed to meet with Tortorici to evaluate whether he was responsible for his actions at the time of the incident. Dr. Siegel recommended to postpone the trial, but Judge Rose decided that the trial should continue. Dr. Siegel recommended this because Tortorici was showing signs of and symptoms of acute psychosis when he was trying to do the evaluation. His trial began on January 3, 1996. A week earlier, he had announced that he was electing to waive his rights to be present in the courtroom during the trial. This helped the prosecution because of the focus stayed with the victims. After 8 days of testimonials and 31 witnesses, the case was handed to the jury on January 13, 1996. By law, Judge Rosen was not permitted to tell the jury what would happen to Tortorici if they found him not responsible. The jury didn't know that in all likelihood Tortorici would spend as much time locked up in a secure mental hospital as he would in prison. In just over an hour, the jury found Tortorici guilty on 11 counts of kidnapping and aggravated assault. One individual from the jury stated that the fact that there was so much planning for the incident made him guilty. In February 1996, Judge Rosen sentenced Tortorici to 20 to 47 years in prison, the maximum punishment allowed under the law. Tortorici was sent to the Surveillance Correctional Facility, a maximum security penitentiary, where he was placed in the mental health unit in his own cell. Just a few months after he was sentenced, he tried to kill himself by hanging from a bedsheet in his cell. He survived the suicide attempt and spent the next 3 years being shuttled between prison and short stays at a psychiatric facility. After his longest stay at the Central New York Psychiatric Center, Tortorici seemed to be improving. There were no more delusions and no more speaking to people that were not there. Tortorici was again returned to prison. The family was told he was doing well at Surveillance Correctional Facility. In fact, he wasn't. On August 10, 1999, Tortorici was found dead, hanging from a bedsheet in his cell. This case showed that the criminal justice system doesn't deal with all cases in the right way. Tortorici was insane, and therefore he was not competent to stand trial. He in fact needed help, and by sending him to prison, it made everything worse. His medical records and the expert witnesses that supported these medical records should have been enough for not to send him to jail, but to a psychiatric facility where he could get help. His case should be considered when dealing with other cases that deal with insanity. When people have mental illness, they cannot stand trial. They need help, so people don't commit suicide like it happened in this case. Thank you so much for your time. I hope you like the presentation. My name is Jonathan Perez. Thank you again.